It is a holiday weekend, but in the words of the great Bill Belichick, no days off for the Sunday Roundtable. To join us this morning, Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican political analyst Rod Gray. Great to see you guys. Mayor Wu appointed Michael Cox as Boston Police Commissioner. As she heads into her re-election fight, this is a re-election year for the mayor. Is that a decision that's working in her favor?
Especially in an election year. Michelle Wu gets to go around Boston and also the nation and say, I'm the mayor of the safest big city in the United States of America. That is a powerful weapon to use. And the fact that it's a quality of life issue too, so the stats are totally in her favor, but you talked about it with the commissioner. The fear of crime, whether it exists or not, is an issue. And so the difference what you see nationally is Trump and others demagoguing crime and saying there's crime and all that when there isn't, even when you present the facts. Everyone in Boston knows they're safe.
Rob?
We're going to talk about the mayor's race later. There's been little mention of crime from the Kraft campaign, so I think that tells you that people think things are going pretty well in the city.
Yeah.
A federal court judge in Boston allowed the massive Trump cuts to the federal workforce to continue on, and the Trump-Elon Musk partnership is only getting stronger. Their actions have some calling this moment a constitutional crisis. Of course, the Trump administration dismisses that. The administration says they're responding, in fact, to what voters want. So who's making the case better right now, Rob?
I mean, as Trump says, he loves winning. On this issue, he is. If you look at his approval rating, it's at 53%. That's 10 points above what it was in 2017 at this time. It's in the same neighborhood that Biden was at after he got elected. So Trump has made a lot of gains there. People wanted somebody to shake the tree of the federal government. They love this no more working from home, go back to your office plan that Trump has put into effect. So obviously it has some ragged edges, but I think overall Trump's on the right path.
What do you think, Marianne?
Nobody voted to end our democracy in favor of a dictatorship. That's a fact. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing right now. And in the very slim margin that he had to win, we say it all the time, 1.5%, smallest margin since 1968 and Nixon, this is not what they voted for. They're looking for cost reductions.
Well, inflation is up right now. And that's something the president said he would bring down on day one.
Right. The issues that really mattered in the election, you know, immigration, inflation, all of those issues are going all the wrong way. So you have to look at it this way. This isn't about the voters. This is about Donald Trump and being Vladimir Putin and making Washington the Kremlin at Christmas. Best week Putin's had all week was this past week with Donald Trump.
What about the tariffs, Rob, as well? I mean, a lot of economists are real concerned about that.
Yeah, and they might play out badly for Trump. I mean, the same poll I cited with his approval rating, 66% of people think Trump's not doing enough for inflation. The tariffs could make inflation worse. He says, oh, there might be some short-term effect, but in the long term we'll be better off. That's hard to explain to voters who are going to the grocery store every day, so that's a weak spot for him.
Let's talk about bus lanes. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu making a move. She is scrapping that bus lane on Boylston Street. As a driver on Boylston Street, can I say yay? Is that okay? And that thing put the biggest squeeze on traffic. So she says it took up too much space to be useful. She's right. Is this something that can only happen in an election year, Marianne?
Well, it's an election win for Michelle Wu. When you take an issue off the table that your opponent wants you to play with,
right,
that's a win no matter how it came
But did she take it off because Josh Kraft mentioned it in his introduction?
I mean, did she take it? Did she shut it down because of consultation with neighbors and business owners? Was it data? Was it Josh Kraft raising it? Maybe. It could have been 1, 2, 3, or all of the above, but that issue's not on the table anymore, and that's a win for her.
I'll let you talk about the bus lane. What about bike lanes, too?
Well, I don't think very highly of Josh Kraft's chances of winning this race, but I think the bike lane issue is a gold issue for him politically. I think he's on to something. People are sick of being stuck in traffic in the city. All these bad designs that get thrown out there, whether they're bus lanes or bike lanes, they're causing drivers lots of problems. They're causing people not to want to come into the city to work or to locate their business. And, definitely somebody looking over her shoulder, I think, is causing the mayor to think more practically about this, hopefully.
And you are seeing the Kraft campaign now criticizing the Woo campaign for the money it spent to create the bus lane, and now to take away the bus lane. So that's one thing.
They've done it all over the place. I mean, there's been a bunch
Yeah.
of bus lanes in, out. To be fair, the MBTA has done them in surrounding communities too. Also disastrous.
Yeah.
Well, just one quick thing. We talked about this a few minutes ago in the green room. Some of the bike lanes were started by Tom Menino way back in the Wayback Machine.
And Marty Walsh.
Okay, Marty Walsh did the
same
bulk
thing.
of them.
That's right.
So Michelle Wu's kind of playing cleanup here and
Sure.
trying to readjust all the bike lanes. Some work, some don't. We'll see.
Yeah.
On another transportation front, Massport wants to raise rideshare pickup and drop-off fees at Logan Airport by a lot, adding $15 to a round trip if you're taking a rideshare. They say it's for infrastructure, but isn't this just another tax hike in the guise of a fee? What do you think, Marianne?
As someone who flew on Thursday, I'm 10 minutes from Logan, took an Uber over, a taxi back, that round trip, $100.84 just for that round trip. So, yes, who wants more? I don't think so. But what you're going to hear from the Uber Lyft drivers is our quality of life, we're not making as much money as we wanted to, all that. You're punishing the people on both sides of that transaction when Massport has other assets that they can leverage to get the money and funding that they need to make these improvements on infrastructure. That's not the way to do it.
What do you think, Rob?
I mean, they just spent, hundreds of millions on a brand new Terminal E
E?
that looks like a spaceship that was architect designed.
Right.
So, yeah, Massport could get the money somewhere else. I'd like to know what the governor's going to say about it. They're definitely soaking, the flying public. I hear the governor when I park and I ride on the little conveyor belt into the terminal.
Yep.
She's welcoming me
Yeah.
to Massport. What's her view on this?
Massport says this is still a proposal, but a vote could come in March on this.
High marks for the reference to the Wayback Machine, by the way. That was brilliant.
We miss Mindy.
More roundtable when we come back.